increase our renewable energy source production. The current government under National Hydrogen Mobility Mission is significantly adoption for electric vehicles in two-wheelers and three-wheelers is much faster because it is just an electric motor driven by a battery source.
Isn't Hyderabad metro a failed attempt?
मैम भोपाल में भी सेम प्रॉब्लम है, वहां पर भी मेट्रो बना दी है लेकिन वहां पर ना तो कोई यूज है और नॉर्मल गाड़ियों से भी धीरे चलती है.
In Bangalore, there is one place called Miller's Road. About 12 years ago, plastic was melted, mixed with bitumen and tar and sand, and the street was laid. It was a beautiful place, and it was a beautiful road, smooth, and it lasted more than 6 years.
जो प्लास्टिक रिसाइकलिंग फैक्ट्रीज है जो कि प्लास्टिक रिसाइकल करती हैं, देन उसके बाद में क्रेडिट्स ट्रेड करती हैं जो कंपनीज अपना कार्बन एमिशन टारगेट्स को अचीव नहीं कर पाती.
I'd like to first unmute Mr. Moel.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. I seen you reminded Tel Aviv Metro project. I am myself from Israel, and because this subject touch to me personally, and I want to ask you next question. How, according to your opinion, smart mobility can support improvement social and economic well-being of poor and low socioeconomic groups of population?
To make it more clear for the other audiences, I'd like to repeat the question. Sir is asking how smart mobility can support improvement of social and economic well-being of people from, say, poorer stratas or poor social economic stance in life at the moment. How can it help them?
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Shmuel, for the question. So climate change is impacting as you said, socially or economically backward sections of the society much more than the well-to-do sections, right? They are the first ones to be affected by, for example, just the heat around. We will sit in our room, switch on the air condition, but it is heating up the space much more in the space outside the room, right? So all those economically weaker sections that cannot access such solutions are at more vulnerability. We see that in the summer months, a lot of manual labor, their productivity is coming down. They are falling prey to a lot of heart strokes. They are losing lives in cardiovascular diseases, and especially the productivity of women is coming down. So every smart mobility solution is a step towards building a more inclusive society.
Shmuel sir, if I may, I'd like to add something to it. So on a personal note, I've experienced something in my country. So I've traveled all the way from Gujarat to, say, Kerala in a four-wheeler, on a two-wheeler, and it costed me about 15 grand to go and come back. That's 15,000 Indian rupees. And let me just tell you the kilometers. So it's approximately 1,600 kilometers to 1,900 kilometers one way, approximately. And I traveled to and fro and costed me about 14,000 rupees, 15,000 on a two-wheeler with just me alone on it. and then one of my friends who recently got a EV. It's a VE6. I'm not sure, but it's by Mahindra, and it's an electric vehicle. And he traveled along with his mom and dad and his younger sibling in the four-wheeler uh, to Kerala, to the same place, and back to Gujarat, also covering Bangalore on the way, which is a different state altogether. And it still costed him 14,000 rupees. So uh, the current EV models that are coming out are already cheaper than the petrol vehicles. At the same time, if it's incorporated smartly with the public transport systems, it will allow cheaper transportation and more ecologically viable transportation facilities to people from, say, uh, poorer socio-economical groups at the moment. So if it's adapted appropriately, I think everyone will benefit from this.
Yes, and thank you very much. And I want to ask another short question. I want to ask if you recommending on development hydrogen fuels and hydrogen energy for encouraging smart mobility.
I'm sorry, I lost you there. Could you kindly repeat your question once again?
Yeah, I asking if you recommending on development hydrogen fuels and energy. Hydrogen fuels and energy.
Are you asking which fuel and energy would we recommend? Is it?
Yeah, of course.
Ma'am, over to you.
Yeah. So we dwelled upon this in a very detailed manner. So which fuel do I recommend is right now electric vehicle transition. See, it again depends on what you want to buy, sir. Do you want to buy a two-wheeler, three-wheeler? You want to buy a truck or a bus? Okay. So electric hybrid vehicles are the best option available right now. If it is a four-wheeler, if it is a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler, electric vehicles are good. If you want to buy a
Thank you very
bus,
much.
again, electric buses are good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Request me to do that. Unfortunately, see, at my age, I have many questions. Anyway, I would like to be asked. I have three issues. One is I would like to ask Madam. It was a very good researched mobility solution here. One thing is all these mobility problems can be solved provided we have good roads. We know pretty well that Indian roads are very bad, particularly in cities. Most of the roads it is not possible for us to move freely and easily. So if there is any study that has been made by through the mobility purpose, good roads are the reason for good mobility. So that is one question. Second thing is we are getting challans for no helmet, no DL. All these things are there, but there are no challans for no bad roads. Something has to be done for that, and there must be some answerable people in the authoritative sector. That is second day. Same way, we have lots and lots of waste plastic that is available. It can be collected and it can be mixed with bitumen, and then plastic roads can be laid. That is, can you think about that also? We can ask the children to bring 10 pieces of waste plastic from their homes, give it to the school in turn to the municipal authorities to give it to the road contractor to melt it and mix it with bitumen and lay plastic roads. That is second one is about you mentioned about railway mobility. Last minute mobility is very much wanting in railways and even in metros also. So we will have to think about there is a system called RO-RO in Konkan Railway, that is roll on, roll off for big trucks to get onto the wagons, that is the rakes, and then travel from one train to the other without much problem. That is one way of saving petrol. But it can work. Similarly, is it possible for us to think about hop on, hop off? That is, for example, between Bangalore and Mysore, recent Shatabdi and other speedy trains, the speed has been increased from 100 to 135 kilometers per hour. That means within 1 hour, Bangalore, Mysore, it is possible. Similarly, Chennai, Mysore. This way, we can have rakes loaded with vehicles, that is cars. Between Bangalore and Mysore, 1 lakh vehicles travel both ways. That way, that out of which nearly 40,000 to 50,000 cars are moving. It will be too much even in the weekends. This way, you can just use your smart card, get onto the rake, and travel at 100 to 135 kilometers and reach Mysore, and then simply roll off. That is, hop off. That way, you will be able to get yourself a mobility from within 1 hour from Bangalore to Mysore or Mysore to Bangalore, and you will have your own vehicle to move around interesting tourism places. And then you mentioned about e-waste, and I have a solution if you can think about it. E-waste, after you are recovering rare earths, metals, minerals, etc., whatever is remaining, if you give it to me, I will break them into bits and pieces, mix it with cement and jelly, and then convert them into e-bricks. And similarly, you can also dump those bits and pieces into hollow blocks and for construction purpose. I think I have taken a little more time than our friend said. I hope you will understand these things, and if these innovative thoughts can be included in your thoughts, it will be of help, I feel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Any
Sir, I
comment
think they are less of doubts and more of insights. So thank you for sharing them.
While you shared the insights with us, sir, I'd like to also put in certain points that when you mentioned about the plastic bitumen roads, the solution is good. It's already being used in a lot of places in the world, but there are certain things that have not been studied yet. Like long-term research is still very much absent. Uh, I'll take the case of Teflon. Teflon was used to protect tanks from, say, scratches, damages, or anything like that. Uh, it eventually landed up on our frying pans. And then Teflon was known to be carcinogenic by DuPont, which founded it. And we in India still use Teflon on our frying pans to make it non-sticky. So similarly, why we know very well that plastic is carcinogenic. At least a lot of the plastics are carcinogenic in nature. And when you use them on a large scale in a country like India, where the temperatures are very high, the integration of the plastic into the external environment increases multifolds. So it's not a safe option everywhere. Maybe in, say, colder places, it can be used because the roads are, say, more insulated that way. But
Nishant, one second.
yes, please.
You are talking about all this, right? But you don't mind leaving amidst waste plastic? Are they not
I'm not,
carcinogenic?
sir,
Teflon is
that is
something.
whataboutism, sir. I'm not telling that putting plastic here
I'm
and there is
talking
a right.
about waste plastic. I'm talking about e-waste.
Precisely, I'm also talking about the waste plastic, sir. The waste plastic, there's a long way to even understand how it can be utilized appropriately while recycling. No,
Sir,
if
it was done, sir,
it
in
is
Bangalore.
used directly on the roads without
Sorry,
research.
sorry, yaar. In Bangalore, between Indian Express Circle and Cantonment Railway Station, there is one place called Miller's Road. About 12 years ago, I was there looking at these things, and plastic was melted, mixed with bitumen and tar and sand, and the street was laid. It was a beautiful place, and it was a beautiful road, smooth, and it lasted more than 6 years. There is no question
Right.
of any danger. We have already exposed ourselves to much more
No,
dangerous things.
Sir, it's not about delusion. It's about what you're breathing in while you're around that road. What is the kind of air you're breathing in while you're around that road? Does that air have microplastics in it? Does that soil around that road have microplastics in it? It is anyways getting scattered to even smaller microsystems while you use it without long-term trials. Now, these trials are being done publicly. The one that you mentioned is also a publicly done trial. It is not a small-scale thing researched for 50 years and done. So larger, if you want to solve the problem long term, it cannot be put directly into a solution and utilized. There has to be a certain system design study that has to be done behind it, which is again done by larger corporations.
See, every problem has a solution. Okay. And these, for
Right.
example, you are drinking water from a bottled water. Are you not taking bisphenol? That is a very simple
I
thing.
am. I am.
Still,
That's
and
why I
children
avoid
are
it.
eating kurkure. The avoid question
Right.
is
It-
it's existing.
Again,
It is existing
you're bringing in
in
the problems
nature
we all
right
know, sir.
now.
Right,
Okay,
sir. You're
okay.
bringing in the problems we
Go
all
ahead.
know, which are already present. And even with the solution that you mentioned with the bitumen rose with plastic, it's going to give us more details 20 years down the line, even more than it is giving
No, no,
right
no.
now.
It is already being done. It can be done.
I know it is being
Provided,
done, sir, but the larger implications of it have not been studied yet, is what I'm telling, because it is a very new tech.
sir, without trying anything, if we go on talking about negative things, there's no meaning in it, I feel. Okay, no problem.
Right, sir. Thank you. I
Thank
agree
you.
with the solutions that you give, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Ma'am, I am doing research in green transition from Central University of Himachal Pradesh. In my opinion, that development is not directly proportional to environment wellness. It is indirectly proportional, as we see our government, whatever they are doing, they are doing not directly proportional thing. मतलब कि एनवायरनमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो रहा है। और अभी मैं हिमाचल प्रदेश में हूँ, लेकिन मैं इंदौर और भोपाल से आती हूँ। मतलब इंदौर में आपने बहुत बड़ा एक न्यूज़ देखी होगी जहाँ पर लोगों की डेथ हुई थी गंदे पानी के कारण। और हिमाचल में मैं 3 साल से हूँ पिछले, और यहाँ पर बड़े लेवल पर डिस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा है। तो मैम, जो गवर्नमेंट है वो डेवलपमेंट के लिए कुछ नहीं कर रही है। इवन आप जैसे बता रहे हैं कि इलेक्कल में इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग शुरू की है, जिसके चलते और व्हीकल खराब होते जा रहे हैं, और हम और कंजम्पशन के तरफ बढ़ते जा रहे हैं। तो इस तरीके की चीज़ों को मैम कैसे केटर किया जाए कि लोगों को ये समझ आए कि हम स्मार्टली डेवलपमेंट गवर्नमेंट से करवाएं, वो अवेयरनेस हम कैसे जनरेट करें, और गवर्नमेंट कुछ भी थोप दे हम पर, ये सही तरीका नहीं है। तो हम कैसे लोगों को स्मार्ट नेविगेशन के तरफ बढ़ाएं। मतलब ये आपका सेशन बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ और हम बड़े लेवल पे एज अ कम्युनिटी हम क्या कर सकते हैं मैम?
So yes, Apurva, that's a brilliant question. See, firstly, as you mentioned, a catastrophe that is happening in Himachal Pradesh. Okay, मेरा हिंदी इतना अच्छा नहीं है, तो I will answer in English. We have destroyed it. It is said that about 8,000 Devna trees have been cut down in the fragile Himalayan ecosystem. Okay, without those trees, Himalayas is nothing. Okay, and without Himalayas, there's not even India. Bharat does not exist. If you say that probably we cannot stop the expansion of Chardham project, or probably we cannot do something that can at a big level. If we cannot do, I really like the way you ended the question. As a community, what is it that we can do? We as tourists go to that place, right? Be it Himachal Pradesh, be it Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand, the news has been pretty bad. More than 3,000 tourists have been stranded, flash floods, and so many other things have happened in Uttarakhand. Literally, we have destroyed the ecosystem of these fragile Himalayan belts. And at individual level, what is it that can we do? Okay, so can we not become sustainable tourists? can we just go to a place and not leave trash behind? Okay, can we not if that kind of real estate is building in the fragile Himalayan state, in places where resorts are not supposed to be built, and they are being built, can as individuals we not do such things? We go on a trek, we reach the top of Mount Everest, we put a flag there and leave our plastic water bottles and whatnot there. Okay, so even at those places where it is difficult to reach, plastic has already reached. Okay, can we become responsible individuals, and at community level we can definitely make a huge impact, because we have seen in the past, and what we ask, that is what we get. Okay, so if there is a strong public demand, definitely government will oblige with that demand. If in Hyderabad, if we can stop the entire a huge eco belt in the Hyderabad Central University was supposed to be raised down, but just with we did not end with signing petitions online and keeping quiet, but we did something more. It is only with community involvement and intervention that such a mega project has been stalled. So I really believe in the power of common man, and if things like landslides and all those feels overwhelming, there are definitely things that you and I can do together. Okay, especially I think India needs to teach or learn this lesson and evangelize this concept of sustainable tourism much more than anything else. In the name of convenience, in the name of vacations, we are literally destroying our ecosystems. Okay, so that is my view.
मैम मुझे एक चीज और बोलनी है।
Hmm.
यहाँ मैं मध्य प्रदेश से हूँ बेसिकली। वहां पर ना 2 जगह गवर्नमेंट बहुत बड़ा माइनिंग के लिए
Mining
प्रोजेक्ट्स डाल
operations,
रहे
right?
हैं। हाँ, तो एक है छतरपुर में और दूसरा है सिंगरौली में मैम।
Hmm.
तो वहां पर जो वहाँ की लोकलाइज्ड कम्युनिटी है, एक तो अर्बन एरिया ही है और एक आदिवासी इलाका है। तो मैम वहां पर डिस्प्लेसमेंट हो रहा है। तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि एनवायरनमेंट को बचाने के लिए हम अभी शायद 35-37 लोग अवेलेबल है, तो हम खुद भी आगे आए और इसके खिलाफ बोले, ताकि वहां पर इस लेवल का डिस्ट्रक्शन ना हो और हमारे जंगल बचे रहे और लोगों को भी परेशानी ना
Right.
हो।
So,
थैंक यू
especially
मैम।
in the mining belts, we have seen earlier in some tribes in parts of Chhattisgarh, Odisha, the Adivasis are so strong. They did not let any kind of displacement or clearance of forest happen. So, very true. If you have a method in which all of us can support, this initiative, we will do it. Probably you can circulate an online petition or whatever you want. And I think to an extent, social media influencers, especially working in climate change and environmental issues, are doing a brilliant job in terms of spreading awareness. And yes, as a citizen led movement, we can definitely take a few things forward. And also,
Right.
one thing we need to really understand and accept is that India is at a crossroads where we have a huge uh, resource pressure. Okay, there is the pressure on resources is very very high, and the population is more. And yes, it does pain to look at projects like Great Nicobar being moved, and forests being cleared. And when there are alternatives, definitely alternatives are there, especially for mining and stuff like that. So I mean, instead of being critical of the government, I truly believe that as citizens we should definitely do our part and amplify that impact, because that can really move mountains.
Ma'am, there's a question from Mr. Hussein S. Isn't Hyderabad Metro a failed attempt?
So first, let me ask you, sir, why do you think it failed?
The LIT is saying it's a loss.
Firstly, L&T
मैम
is saying
इवन भोपाल में भी सेम प्रॉब्लम है, वहां पर भी मेट्रो बना दी है लेकिन वहां पर ना तो कोई यूज है और पेड़ भी काटे उसके चलते, और वो नॉर्मल गाड़ियों से भी धीरे चलती है।
I will definitely not call Hyderabad Metro a failure, because I think the capacity, right now just with about 3 or 4 coaches in the metro is handling about 6 lakh passengers. It is definitely not a bad idea, but yes, we can add more coaches and see. Uh, Interventions like these, huge infrastructure pushes like these, cannot be termed profitable right in 5 to 10 years of their operation. It takes time. It takes time, but this kind of a transformation is required. We need metro to spread across the city. Right now, it is in specific corridors. Probably it needs to spread into wider regions and more coaches, and more coaches means more people and less congestion on roads, and more parking areas for the riders. All this will definitely enhance the existing use of metro. But as a regular metro rail user, I definitely feel it is more convenient, less cumbersome, and more, what do you say, your productivity from the day is not lost, definitely not due to travel.
Ma'am, there's a question from a guest. What aspects are currently lacking in the planning of effective urban mobility, effectively for EV vehicles?
One big challenge that we often come across is the charging infrastructure.
Charging units.
Yes,
Right.
so there is a range anxiety if we look at the passenger vehicles and even the heavy duty vehicles. Definitely, there is range anxiety, and the battery cost is more. Replacement cost of battery will cost significantly, and in the everyday operations, charging infrastructure is a challenge. Again, as I said, it needs some kind of planning as to what route you're going to take, where you're going to stop, and will your stop also coincide with your personal break that you want to take. So this kind of thing has to be done. So that is the current challenges. But yes, there is a lot of improvement in the last 2 to 3 years. Okay, so a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities, startups are coming up with battery swapping technologies, charging stations, and many things like that. And for the medium and heavy duty trucking segments, some corridors, especially as I said, the Bangalore and Chennai corridor has a lot of charging stations. Every 100 kilometers there is a charging station. So yes, challenges are there, and we are working towards a better future.
Thank you, ma'am. Also, to add, we have had some amazing developments in some other parts of the world. We have this Chinese automaker BYD, uh, and they have unveiled a ultra flash charging technology capable of adding 500 kilometers, that's 300 plus miles of range in roughly 4 to 5 minutes. So it's almost as fast as filling in petrol at a petrol station.
Yes,
So
yes.
once that is adapted in India, I don't think at proper gaps, I don't think we have issue of wasting time also for charging, and
Correct.
you can just it'll be almost as good as gasoline refueling.
Yeah, sorry, I joined a little late. I was in the Aeronautical Society of India, I just joined you up now back. See, lithium, as you're aware, is a very premium thing, and we are importing it mostly. So there was an ongoing research happening on alternative batteries like metal air batteries. So aluminum is the main component, and aluminum is available in our country, reliable and substantial. So, anything known about the status of this project, which would be an alternative, low cost, lightweight to the existing lithium-ion batteries. Metal ion, it's called metal air batteries. Anything is known about it?
Sir, I am not very sure of this technology, but one thing that I would want to share is battery recycling is happening in a much faster way than it has been envisaged. And over the last 2-3 years, even discarded batteries are being brought back and recycled. And because lithium leaching is extremely harmful. Lithium is one element that can, the toxicity and the speed at which the toxicity spreads is very high. It is even found in mother's milk, and that is spreading into infants and causing cancers, and we are aware of that. So responsible recycling technologies have come in, and urban mining is at a rampant state. That is mining from your own e-waste, recycling, and extracting these materials and putting it back into the circular economy. But this alternative to lithium ion, I'm not very sure, sir.
Yeah, it's supposed to be aluminium in that that's the thing. So anyway, in fact, I get some information, I'll also love to share with the group. And
Sure.
and I
Yes,
think
please, sir.
today's news is about in Telangana he is planning. He has come out with a concrete plan to increase the number of charging stations, and also have a system by which they'll monitor. I don't know if you have come across the news today. It's today's news.
तो मतलब जैसे कि लास्ट ईयर हमने देखा था कि जो रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज हैं वो अपने जो कार्बन एमिशन है उसको बैलेंस कर रही थी वनतारा के थ्रू, लैंड को ग्रीन गोल्ड माइन में कन्वर्ट करके. सो जैसे कि वो कार्बन क्रेडिट्स भी जनरेट करेंगे. एंड मैंने एक इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया में देखा था एनसीआर की साइड की जो प्लास्टिक रिसाइकलिंग फैक्ट्रीज हैं जो कि प्लास्टिक रिसाइकल करती हैं, देन उसके बाद में क्रेडिट्स ट्रेड करती हैं जो कंपनीज अपना कार्बन एमिशन टारगेट्स को अचीव नहीं कर पाती. सो अभी जैसे इंडिया में काफी ज्यादा रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर काफी एग्रेसिवली एक्सपेंड हो रहा है, एंड गवर्नमेंट भी प्रमोट कर रही है मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज को. तो जैसा कि जो अपना टॉपिक था कि सस्टेनेबल टुमारो, जिसमें लो कार्बन रहे, सो उसके अंदर जो कि वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट एरियाज हो गए या फिर अपना मोबिलिटी सेक्टर हो गया, उसमें 5 to 10 years के अंदर अपन क्या बिजनेस या फिर स्टार्टअप अपॉर्चुनिटीज देख सकते हैं जिसमें हम जो ये कार्बन क्रेडिट्स को जनरेट करें.
So, nice question. Firstly, what organizations can do to, in the field of mobility? Okay, so all of us understand the ESG disclosures, right? So, SEBI has mandated the non-financial disclosures of ESG, environment, society, social, and governance factors to be mandatorily disclosed at the end of the year, which is a SEBI mandate. The companies have to follow it, and top 1,000 turnover companies are mandated to do this, and the rest of the organizations also will follow suit. Okay, so under ESG disclosures, you track your emissions. So there is something called scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions. As a part of your emissions, you have to track, as a part of your green initiatives, you have to track the emissions. And in case a company adopts a clean fleet, okay, a company adopts a greener fleet, an electric fleet, its emissions come down. Okay, I mean, it's a whole vast subject to dwell into scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. There are direct emissions, there are indirect emissions, and how companies can take a few steps to get into the ambit of these scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, how you can track them, what initiatives can be taken, and all this will be incentivized through the BRSR. So, business responsibility and sustainability reporting is a SEBI mandated disclosure for the top 1,000 companies in India. And if you look at the, for example, say Ashok Leyland or Tata Motors or all these companies, even their tier 1, 2, and 3 suppliers will have to disclose their BRSR requirements, because these companies have to in turn disclose it in their reports. So that way organizations are indirectly being pressurized into adopting cleaner and greener technologies in their operations. So if say a cement manufacturing plant is there, the major emissions that come out is the furnace, and the cement plant usually has its own captive power plant that supplies power, right? So the entire electrification starts right from setting up its own grid where they produce cleaner power, and that is in turn sent to run the furnaces and all this. So organizations have a lot of opportunity. It's not just the organization, but the allied system requires and generates a lot of startup opportunity to take part in this EV revolution. So as simple as just setting up a charging station. I'm not able to recollect, or the top of my mind, I don't have the names to recollect, but there are a lot of startups who are doing very well in just setting up infrastructure, charging infrastructure in major corridors that are seeing a lot of movement of vehicles. So yes, there is scope, there is opportunity.
ओके मैम, थैंक यू।
Sir,
उसमें काफी और एक्सप्लोर करना पड़ेगा टॉपिक्स।
right. But sir, financially, if you go to see, I think there's a few fields. One is battery recycling, something that a lot of people can look into if they have the capacity. Other is EV repair works, which I see very less along the way right now in my city. So these are certain things which are on ground that can be directly helped by people who are a little technically well equipped. थोड़ा सा उसमें ध्यान देंगे तो financially they can help themselves out, and while they help the system out, the system will also try to upgrade itself in near future. With that, we've completed all of the questions. Again, I'd like to thank you for your time and patience, and for sticking with us for the pod. Thank you so much for joining us, man. I'd like to thank all of the participants who are there in the chat and in the participation up until now. Thank you so much for being with us and supporting Vishwat. I request you to join us again next week at the same time.